played Atari today.
Greetings, it's Adam with Grata Non Grata for another dog walk Atari talk video, I guess I could call these. Just don't have the time to sit down and capture video for certain things right now, but still having some deep thoughts about Atari and everything. But one that I wanted to talk about today while I walk the doggo is I know there's been discussion or rumors or it's believed that one of the next Plus systems that Atari's going to do will be the Jaguar Plus. And what I would really like to see from that, I mean, being a Jaguar fan, one of the few holdouts around there who I collected the Jaguar back in the 90s, but I started when the whole Jaguar had already been discontinued, like 97, 98, somewhere around there. But one of the things I'd love to see, but I wouldn't really expect from this, for Atari to do this, although if somebody from Atari is listening, that's what I'd hope you'd maybe consider it, look into it, see what the cost might be. But that would be adding NUON support. Now, why on earth should something like the Jaguar Plus include the NUON? Well, the NUON was, for those who might not know what it is, it was a technology that was embedded into DVD players. It was kind of like the 3DO concept as far as enhancing DVD players with extra capabilities, allowing them to play video games. Now, the VM Labs who created it didn't last very long, and the number of games that actually came out for NUON hardware was like 6, I think, maybe 7, and so very, very few games were ever released for this. But still, the reason why I would think this would be a great addition to something like the Jaguar Plus, because it's going to be an emulation box anyways, probably running the Big P EMU for Jaguar stuff. But the NUON emulator out there, I think it's called Nuance, and as far as I know, it works pretty well. But the NUON is essentially the Jaguar II, and I'd done that video about the Jag 2 and its capabilities and all that, and it just really seems like the closest that you could get to the Jaguar 2's capabilities would be the NUON chip. But on top of that, the fact of the matter is that VM Labs is made up by a bunch of ex-Atari staff. It even had Jeff Minter on it. You know, he made Tempest 3000 and he created the Virtual Light Machine 2 for the NUON. And even the chip designer, if I'm recalling correctly, his name is John Matheson, was the guy who designed the Jaguar chipset and the Jaguar II chipset. And so as after Atari collapsed and closed up in 1996 and the Jaguar II project was canceled, that Richard Miller, who had been a VP at Atari or the president of Atari, I can't remember exactly, he had decided to go out and create his own company. Was still involved with games, but of course 1996 was when DVDs were introduced, and Richard Miller created VM Labs and hired John Matheson and plenty of others to develop this new tech. And so in a way, I guess you could call the NUON the Jaguar III. But because of that and the fact that the NUON had Tempest 3000 on it, that it makes sense to me that since you're running an emulation box anyways, just also throw Nuance in there, and that way you could have it be kind of a hybrid of the Jaguar plus the Jaguar 2.5 or the Jaguar 3 in there as well, because and that's another thing too, is that might also help spawn some additional NUON developments. There's not been a lot. There was Ring Flyer that was released by Songbird Productions here recently, But there really hasn't been much else in terms of game development for the NUON, and that's one game system out there that I've not seen what it was really capable of doing, getting close to. Now, of course, the question would be, well, what about the discs? Because it was a DVD player, and it seems unlikely that Atari would want to have it play DVDs, and you know that would increase the cost of the whole system by quite a bit. But my suggestion would be to re-release all the NUON games. I'm sure Atari could figure out the licensing. Aside from Tempest 3000, they would be able to probably get a hold of what they knew. Actually, Atari owns Iron Soldier 3 and Tempest 3000, so they already own like 20% of the NUON library as it is anyways, which would reduce costs. But on top of that, you could just re-release all the games on cartridges, as you know, they would probably make them M2 based cartridges, and you know that could fit more than you'd need for a DVD sized game that would be on there. Of course, the games themselves wouldn't have been super huge anyways. Most of the data that would have been on them would have been with the full motion video, but even then, a lot of the NUON games didn't use that much FMV anyways, and it would probably increase the loading times, which were horrendous on the NUON in a lot of instances. But yeah, what do you think? If Atari does the Jaguar Plus, which I think they will, what do you think about this, adding in NUON support to it as a kind of a nod at the Jaguar's more obscure history? I think those points would make it worthwhile and probably wouldn't add any costs to the actual system itself, and where Atari already owns some of the IP in the NUON library, might as well go for it. It'd be a treat for the Jaguar super fans, because I remember I was in the being in the Jaguar community at the time when it was first called Project X, and then it was called NUON, which NUON was a disappointing one because nobody liked that name. Project X was cool. You know, we were all, pretty much all of the NUON community was made up of Jaguar fans back in like 99 through 2001 or so. And again, with all those games, like Merlin Racing was done by Miracle Designs, who had done Atari carts. And then there was Iron Soldier 3, there was Tempest 3000. It already felt like the Jaguar 2 to us at the time. But those are my Atari thoughts as I walk the dog. Let me know what you think, agree or disagree, and we'll catch you on the next video.